Call him Donald the Dealmaker because in the 3 weeks since President Trump took office, he's already secured the release of 11 Americans held hostage, and among them were 6 in Venezuela and a teacher jailed in Russia.
I feel like the luckiest man on earth right now. President Trump is a hero. These men that came from the diplomatic service are heroes.
Joining us now is one of the key people who have been deeply involved in these releases, Steve Witkoff, special envoy to the Middle East. He's been very busy on a number of fronts. Steve, we haven't gotten into the Hamas hostages, but if you could, for the people watching tonight, take us inside these negotiations. Why was Trump able to do so quickly what other administrations, took a while or never got accomplished?
Peace through strength, Laura, as you know. That it means something out there, and everybody understands it. We had to reach out, and we understood that it was possible that Mark Fogel, we could get him home. And the president, we pursued it. He instructed us to pursue it, and we determined that maybe there was a good opportunity, and he sent me on an airplane to go to Russia and hopefully figure it out on his behalf, and thank God we had a good result.
Was there a lot of setup, groundwork laid before your trip to Russia? Presumably you didn't just show up and like, I want to talk to someone. You had to have conversations before, and how did that go?
There was quite a bit, yeah. We had a really good back channel, and he turned out to be very, very credible and enormously helpful. And that led to, I think, a lot of trust building, candidly, between the Trump administration and President Putin. And maybe that will even pay some large dividends in the future as they begin to discuss other things.
Yeah, obviously you're talking about Ukraine, and I think goodwill. I think Putin wanted to establish some goodwill with this administration for sure. But Steve, the reports tonight are that a U.S. citizen has been detained in Russia for attempting to smuggle a significant amount of drugs into the country. I don't even know how anyone would be that stupid given what's happened in Russia on the drug front. But can you tell us anything about this tonight?
I really don't know much about it. I was just informed about it, but I have no facts. Not sure exactly what happened. And I think that after the Mark Fogel release, there's just a lot of positivity in the relationship between the Putin administration and the Trump administration. And I believe, and I'd like to think that it's going to lead to a lot of positive, good things that probably would have headed off the Ukrainian conflict if the president was the president at the time. And I think you'll see a course direction. He's you know him as well, almost as as well as I do, President Trump. He's a deal guy, and he gets how to do it. He gets the whole playing field as you're making deals. So he empowers us. It's important.
Well, and he trusts you. And Steve, people are like, what does Steve Witkoff know about doing deals? And most importantly, you have the trust of the president. And he knows that when he sends you on a mission, it's going to get done. Steve, I'm so happy you're in this position. Can't wait to have you back. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.